Hi everyone, we're getting ready to start the Fall 2016 Pre-Arrival webinar in about 10 minutes. Hi again. Welcome to the Fall 2016 Pre-Arrival Webinar. We'll be starting the presentation in about 5 more minutes. Thanks. Hi, good morning, and welcome to the first Fall 2016 Pre-Arrival Webinar. and we are Georgia Tech's Office of International Education, and my name is Mimi Haley. I'm one of the International Student Advisors here in the Office of International Student and Scholar Services.
My name is Charlie Hammonds. I am an International Student Advisor in the same office as Mimi.
So let's get started. Okay, we want to go over the agenda with you. Things we're going to cover are getting an I-20 or DS 2019, applying for a visa, housing on campus and around Georgia Tech, uploading your documents to iStart, international student check-in, and we'd like to tell you that you can go ahead, if you think of questions during the webinar, you can type them in, but we will answer them at the end of the webinar. And you can also find additional information at the website listed here.
Okay, hopefully by now most of you have received your I-20 or DS 2019 from Georgia Tech. If you haven't, we are currently issuing them about 7 to 10 days after we receive all of the required information in your I-20 request e-forms. If any of you are transferring your CVIS record from another U.S. school, it will be around 7 to 10 days after the transfer is complete. You will receive an email from OIE when your I-20 or DS 2019 is ready for shipment. CVIS is the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. It is a U.S. government database used to maintain accurate and current information on non-immigrant students, exchange visitors, and their dependents. An I-20 or DS 2019, the I-20 is the document, your certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant status for F1 visa class students. The DS 2019 is the document for J1 class students. These are the documents issued by Georgia Tech, which you must have in order to apply for your visas. You can see pictures of them below.
Okay, applying for a visa. What is a non-immigrant visa? It is an endorsement on a passport indicating that the holder is allowed to travel to the U.S. on a temporary basis. We have detailed information about applying for a visa on our website, and you can also check the state.gov travel.state.gov website for processing times at your particular embassy or consulate. And there's a picture of what the visa actually looks like. To prepare for your appointment, you first need to pay the CVIS I-901 fee, and the website, you can click on that and get a direct link to information about the fee. Complete the online visa application, which is called the DS-160 form, and make sure you pay the visa application processing fee.
It is important to be prepared before you go to your visa appointment. Here are the documents listed that you should bring with you to your interview. Your I-20 or DS 2019 issued by Georgia Tech, your passport, which must be valid for at least 6 months into the future from the day of your visa appointment, payment receipt for the I-901 CVIS fee payment, payment of your visa application fee, the DS-160 application confirmation receipt, your admission letter from Georgia Tech, any financial documents to prove that you have the funding necessary for your studies and expenses while you're in Atlanta, and proof of English proficiency. While you bring these documents, please be aware that it's important that you are able to speak to the visa officer about your reasons for coming to the United States and studying at Georgia Tech. You'll just simply answer their questions and to explain what you're doing and why.
After your visa appointment, check your visa to ensure that all the information on it is correct, and contact the embassy or consulate if there are errors. And make sure you do this carefully, and make sure you contact them immediately if you find any errors. Regarding administrative processing, if this happens, it could happen for a variety of reasons, and you should be told what the reason is. But sometimes when you're at the consulate, they may view your application and determine that it needs further processing. This can take additional time after your interview by a consular office. Applicants are advised of this requirement when they apply. Most processing is resolved within 60 days of the interview, and we have the website there to click on for more information. If this happens to you, please notify our office as soon as possible. We do have an e-form through iStart that you can upload and send us the notification so we are aware that you are going through administrative processing. However, please note that OIE is not able to assist you in expediting this process. Before making inquiries about your status to the consular, you need to wait 60 days from the date of your interview or submission of the supplemental documents, whichever is later.
Hopefully by now you've confirmed a place to live for when you get to Atlanta. In case you have not, here are some resources that you can use to get started. If you're going to need temporary housing for a few nights, click the first link here for a few hotels that are close to Georgia Tech's campus. We encourage you to reserve a room now if you will arrive in Atlanta before you move into your permanent room. The next link gives information for students who wish to live off campus. There is information about some of Atlanta's neighborhoods there, as well as a few apartment complexes that are near to campus.
Regarding international student check-in, a registration hold is going to be placed on your record on each international student account. Once you complete the international student check-in, we will remove your hold. We do not remove the hold until you appear in person at Georgia Tech for the final check-in process. But what you want to do from home, we definitely encourage you to do as much as possible before you arrive at Georgia Tech to make your entrance here and to check-in much smoother. Be sure to upload your I-20 or DS-2019 through iStart when you receive it. And make sure you also upload your visa and your passport information.
Okay, so on this slide are the requirements of international student check-in that you'll do after you arrive in the United States. Once you pass through customs, you will receive an electronic I-94 entry record. You can access the I-94 from the website cbp.gov/I94. That's cbp.gov/I94. Take a screenshot of the I-94 and upload it to iStart using the I-94 upload e-form. You will also have to provide OIE with your home address. That's what we call the SEVIS outside address, your address back home in your home country, and your new Atlanta address. That's what we call the SEVIS inside address, both of these through iStart as well. If you have a temporary Atlanta address, enter that to complete check-in. Then you will have to update it when you move into your permanent room. We strongly recommend that you finish all 4 steps of check-in from this slide and the previous slide as soon as you are able to. The longer you wait, the more time until you are able to register for your classes. Okay, the last step of international check-in is to meet with an OIE advisor like myself or Mimi. We will check that your documents were uploaded correctly, then remove your hold. You must meet with an OIE advisor before you will be allowed to register for your classes. On your screen now are the dates and times that we are available at the 4th floor of the Clough Commons building. If you have not completed your iStart uploads yet, we will help you here, but you will have a much shorter wait time if you are done with everything else before you arrive. Please go to our website down below, oie.gatech.edu/check_in for complete and thorough information and details about this process.
Okay, we wanted to let you know about one more upcoming webinar in July. We have 2 dates listed there, but it is the same webinar, so you only need to attend one. It is not required, but we do recommend that you attend one of the July webinars. July 8th is the next webinar, and it is at the same time. And the last one will be July 26th. At those webinars, we will cover more in detail about arriving in Atlanta and getting to Georgia Tech, and also more details to come about the international student check-in process. If you are not able to attend one of the July webinars, they will be available for view on our website at the link listed on the screen. Okay, at this time we're going to start gathering your questions and give you answers, but we have a process that we would like you to follow, and it helps us organize the questions a little bit better. Please make sure you list your topic for your question, such as the example below. If it is about visa, just write the word visa and then your question after that. If you have additional questions that we were unable to answer or get to by the end of this webinar, please email us at info@oie.gatech.edu. We also want to let you know that we have a Twitter and Instagram page, So we would definitely encourage you to post your getting ready to come to Atlanta pictures and at GT_ISSS, and you please use the hashtag GTINTL2016. Thanks for listening, and we will now take your questions.
So as of this time, no questions have been submitted. In case people are unsure of how to submit questions to us right now, please use the chat window in your screen that should be available if you've signed in with a Google account.
Hi guys, we're still waiting for some questions if you have any. Just as a reminder, you need to have a Google account to ask us questions in the chat window. And just a reminder as an example, just let us know what your topic is. We would appreciate that. And then go ahead and ask your question. Hi everyone. We were just told by our tech guy that you guys have been asking some questions. We had not been able to see them, so just give us a couple of minutes and we're going to be able to view them and start answering. Thanks for your patience. Hi, we're back on.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. We now can see your questions. So the first one we're going to read is about I-20s, and it says, I'm transferring to Georgia Tech from another university for a PhD program, and my I-20 says pending transfer. Is this the right I-20 to give to the visa officer? Assuming that the I-20 that says pending transfer is issued by Georgia Tech, then yes, it is the correct I-20 to give to the visa officer. That should be the only I-20 that you have that says pending transfer, and it has to be from Georgia Tech because this is the school that you'll be attending in the fall semester.
Okay, the next question is, the topic is other, and thanks to you guys for following our instructions about the topics. We appreciate that. Information about international student health insurance. What a great question. Actually, we have detailed information about health insurance on our website. I can't remember the name of the website, but actually if you Google OIE GATEC pre-arrival communication, it's on the website there. Or if you go to our main page, oie.gatech.edu, and click on F Students, and then there's a tab that says pre-arrival communication, you'll find information about health insurance. And you could also Google OIE GATEC student health insurance is another way to find that information.
In addition to that, you can go to the main Georgia Tech Health Center's website, which is health.gatech or GATECH.edu. There's a tab at the top of that website that says insurance. You can click on that, and within those pages you'll find the brochures and all of the detailed information that you'll need about the international student health insurance. What you'll know is that in general it is charged to students after you enroll in your classes automatically. All international students are automatically enrolled in the insurance. The insurance will cover you for the entire calendar year after you enroll in the fall semester and then after you enroll in the spring semester. Those enrollments will cover the entire calendar year worth of insurance. There is a possibility to request an insurance waiver through the health service. So also at that health.gatech.edu website, you'll find information about waiving out of the insurance. You'll have to have similar coverage from your home country or elsewhere, or a greater amount of coverage for that request to be approved. That is not an OIE process though, so beyond that it's difficult for us to give you more information about health insurance. The next question is about OIE check-in. It says, I wanted to know what all documents would be required when we check in at OIE once we arrive on campus. This is a great question. We're really glad to talk about this as much as people need. You're going to need to upload your I-20 or DS-2019. Once you get it in the mail, please sign it on the bottom. There's a line for the student to sign and print his or her name. So make sure you do that first. The next document you will have to upload is your F1 or J1 visa once it is stamped into your passport and you receive that back from the visa officer. Those are the two things that you can upload from home before you ever get on an airplane, and we really recommend that you do that because that's going to save you a lot of time once you arrive on campus. The other things that we want you to, the other documents that we need from you, you'll get after you arrive in the United States. As I mentioned earlier in the webinar, once you pass through customs, you will be issued something called an I-94, which is an entry record to the United States. It will not be a piece of paper that's handed to you or stamped into your passport. This is an electronic document that is issued to you, and you can look up on the customs website, which is cbp.gov/I94. And those are usually available almost immediately after you pass through customs. You can log in with your phone and get it and take a screenshot, or pull up your laptop, usually within an hour or two after you pass through customs and are admitted into the United States. And then the last thing that we ask people to upload isn't really a document, it's just your address information, both your address information at home, which in the webinar we called our CVIS outside information, meaning outside, or CVIS outside address, meaning outside the United States, and then your new address in Atlanta, which in the webinar we call the CVIS inside address. Now, even if you only have a temporary address, for example, if you're living in a hotel for a couple of days, go ahead and use that hotel's address just to get the e-form submitted and get your OIE check-in process complete and your hold removed so that you can register for classes. But you'll have to remember that it is required that you update us with your current Atlanta address whenever it changes, and we'll give you instructions for that when the time comes. All of that stuff, you can do that, and we strongly encourage you to do that before you ever see an OIE advisor. If you have problems or questions and you need help, we will have a large number of people available during the check-in times, which we're going to put back up on the screen, the check-in times, so that you can come see an advisor and we will help you. But we do expect that there to be lots of students coming through the system at this time and it to be very busy. So if you don't like lines and don't want to wait around, have as much of these things done as possible before coming to see us, and then it'll be just a quick hello, check through, and we'll get your hold removed and you'll be finished.
The next question, my visa stamping date is July 18th, which is too late. What are the options that I have if I get a pink slip? I'm sorry, Charlie and I are not quite sure what you mean by that. If you are thinking that July 18th is too late, it's not. I'm not sure if that's what your question is, but you can arrive up to 30 days prior to the start of our term, which is August 22nd, and you're able to come into the United States July 23rd. So, but if that's not your question, if we haven't answered that, please feel free to ask again or rephrase.
Or you can email the OIE's team at info@oie.gatech, that's gatech.edu, and your email will get to an advisor who is not live on a microphone and can research your question a little bit more and get back to you more thoroughly.
And also with your email, will you please include your Georgia Tech ID number? That's the 9-digit number that was issued to you when you were admitted, and it starts with the number 9. The next question is about email. When can we get our Georgia Tech email account? You should have had some information in your admission letter regarding that, but if you log on to Buzzport, you should be able to find detailed instructions on how to set up your Georgia Tech email.
Okay, the next question says, it looks like it's about health. It says, when is the deadline of the health form for international students? Am I able to fulfill the requirements, i.e. a PPD test in Georgia Tech when I come to Facet? It sounds like your question is about immunizations and health. I would refer to the health department's website for their deadlines on this process. That again is health.gatech.edu. So they have their deadlines, though I would I believe from experience that they will allow people to do it once they or allow students to do it once you get to campus. But again, there's going to be a very large number of students coming to campus at exactly the same time, and you might find it is a difficult or lengthy wait to get an appointment to take care of things like this. And it might be easier for you in the long run to do it at home over the summer or from wherever you are. You'll find that the first couple of weeks that you're on campus, there's many things to do, and anything that you are able to do early will benefit you. The next question is also about immunization, and it says, how long does it take to finish the immunization form in the school hospital if I don't vaccinate in advance? Okay, so that's a similar question to the last one. I would say, well, we don't work for the health department, so we don't know directly how long it will take. I would imagine that it depends on how many students are trying to do the same thing at once. So again, if you're able to do it back home, then that would probably save you time. But if you have to wait until you arrive here, just be prepared that there's a possibility that it will take a while. Okay, the next question is about visas. It says, I'm a transfer student. Since I already paid the CVIS I-901 fee a year ago, could that be the fee payment confirmation I'd have to bring, or do I have to pay another fee? That's a great question. So most likely you will not have to pay the I-901 fee again. And the way to know for certain is to look at the CVIS number at the top of your Georgia Tech I-20 and the CVIS number at the top of your previous I-20. If the transfer happened, and then you will have, if the transfer happened correctly and appropriately, which you would have known probably that it didn't, then the CVIS numbers on both of those I-20s will be the same. In that case, you do not need to pay the confirmation again. Okay? You only need to pay the I-901 fee one time for each CVIS record, so each time you get an I-20 with a different number. Anytime you get a new I-20 with the same number, even if it's from a different school, you do not have to pay the I-901 fee again. So hopefully you still have confirmation. The State Department, when you apply for your visa, might be able to look up and see that you have confirmation. Another thing you could do is contact your previous school and ask them to send you a screenshot of your CVIS record that should show the payment confirmation on the screen.
Is that? Sorry, we're still reviewing some questions here. Oh, the visa stamping is July 18th, which is
It's the same.
Oh, same. Okay. Sorry about that. The next question, international student check-in. Which documents must I prepare to check in at the OIE prior to arriving at the campus? Charlie already answered that question.
Yeah, I think that's a repeat ask.
And that's also in one of our slides. And this visa, when is the latest by which visa should be uploaded to not affect the check-in or the registration process? Really, prior to one of the days you choose to come to check-in, which is listed on the screen right now. If you did it earlier than 8:30 on Thursday, August 11th, which is the first day you can check in, then that's fine. We see that almost immediately, so it's not like there's a 24-hour lag time or something like that you need to be concerned with.
However, please don't forget that classes begin on Monday, August 22nd. So you will want to be registered for all of your classes by then, or at least most of your classes by the time by the week that classes start. The registration deadline for campus is the Thursday after classes start, so that's August 25th at 4 p.m. You absolutely must be completely finished with OIE check-in, have all of your holds removed, and be fully registered in all of your classes, which must be at least 12 credit hours by that registration deadline of Thursday, August 25th at 4 p.m. That is an absolute requirement, and there is no flexibility. So if that is what your question is about, how late can I upload all that stuff? That is the absolute deadline, but we strongly encourage you not to wait until August 25th. but refer to the screen where we have our check-in dates and have your stuff uploaded at least by then, so that you can register before the week of classes start. And also that's going to be better for you probably because classes at Georgia Tech sometimes fill up, and you don't want to wait to register at the very end if you don't have to, because then you might not get the choice, you might not get into the classes that you most want to take.
Okay, the next question is again about a visa. Booked visa interview date for July 19th. If it gets delayed, what is the last day to upload it on iStart? If I get it approved in mid-August, can I still attend Georgia Tech? I believe Charlie basically just answered that question for you, I hope. So hopefully you'll get it and it won't be a problem at all. And you can get here and not have any worries over that. But as Charlie said, the absolute last deadline for you to do check-in is August 25th at 4 p.m. So as long as everything happens before that date, then you're fine to attend classes, even though they would have started. Ideally, you would want to do all this before classes begin on Monday, August 22nd.
Okay, the next question is about class registration. It says, what documents would be required during registration for courses? Well, presumably you have already submitted your transcripts and any language proficiency documents as part of the application process. Now, you might have a more complete transcript if you've graduated since the time that you applied to Georgia Tech. I assume that most of you have done that. So I would recommend, I don't work in the registrar's office, so I don't know exactly what they ask for, but I would recommend having the most up-to-date version of your transcripts from either your high school, or if you're a transfer student, from any previous college or university that you've been to. These will help academic advisors work with you to determine the most appropriate classes for you to take. Some classes at Georgia Tech require prerequisites, which are courses that give you the knowledge so that you can understand the Georgia Tech courses. You should be able to look online at oscar.gotech.edu at the course catalog and see, it will sometimes give you information of whether or not a specific course does have a prerequisite or not. But basically what you want to have is confirmation of your academic history and what classes you've taken and so forth, so that the academic advisors can get a sense of what things you've already learned to determine if you are going to succeed in a class.
And you may want to practice logging in to Buzzport with your Georgia Tech ID and your password, because this is how you're going to log into all the systems here, including registering for classes, which is done online. And as Charlie said, your academic advisors should be giving you information on how to register for classes and what courses to register for based on your major and the level that you're in. Okay, the next question is, does the insurance cover immunization? I'm not sure.
I don't believe it does, but I encourage you to check with the Georgia Tech Health Center, which is, again, health.gatech.edu. They will be more equipped to answer the question about that.
The next question is, does Georgia Tech have a payment plan that students can enroll? I do believe that there is a payment plan. If you look on the Bursar's website, it's www.bursar, that's bursar.gatech.edu. They have all the information you need on payment plans and payment deadlines. I believe the final deadline to make your payment for tuition and fees for the fall is the 29th. It's the Monday after classes start on August 22nd. So that's August 29th at 4 p.m. is when tuition and fees are due for the fall semester. Definitely want to make sure you have that done or your payment plan in place so that you will not be dropped from your courses. And Georgia Tech for international students uses Flywire, and that information is also on the Bursar's website.
Okay, so the next question is about check-in. It is, are the undergraduate degree and transcripts required during check-in? No, they are not. OIE does not require transcripts or copies of your undergraduate degree or high school degree or anything like that. What we require for OIE check-in, again, is your passport, which you should have already uploaded during the I-20 request form. and then your signed I-20 once, or DS-2019 once it arrives and you get it, and then your visa, F1 visa or J1 visa once you get that from the consular office, your I-94 after you arrive in Atlanta, and then your address information.
Okay, the next question I believe is kind of related to that. Can we submit our up-to-date transcripts after we arrive on campus? Is it necessary to post them by mail before we arrive? You may submit them once you arrive on campus, so you don't necessarily have to have them posted by mail before you arrive. Sometimes some of you may be waiting on a degree to be conferred in the time after you arrive on campus, so make sure you check with the undergrad admission or graduate admission office to be sure what the deadline would be for submitting those documents.
Okay, this question is, when will the details of the assigned grad academic advisors be sent to us? That depends on your specific academic department, so unfortunately Mimi and I can't give you that information, but what I would recommend that you do is contact the grad department itself and submit your question to them.
Okay, when do we get our buzz card and Georgia Tech ID? That will be when you arrive to campus. You can do that the week you arrive. The buzz card office is in our Barnes & Noble Georgia Tech bookstore. It's on the second floor, and it's located in Tech Square. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and we have a great bookstore to visit. But you can get your buzz card there, and basically they just need your Georgia Tech ID number, and that way they can look up your information, and they'll take your picture and issue you your buzz card while you wait.
Undergraduates who are registered for Facet, you'll get your buzz card as part of Facet. For grad students, it'll be more determined by your specific academic department, whether they have an academic department type of orientation where they help you with that, or if you're expected to do it on your own. You can get your Georgia Tech ID by going to passport, passport.gatech.edu. And you also, if you've received your admission letter from Georgia Tech, the Georgia Tech ID number should be on that as well.
How many copies of official degree documents are needed by OIE? Again, we don't require those official degree documents. That would be the undergraduate or graduate admissions office that requires those. Just make sure you check with them on what they need. It's possible they just need to, if you only have one original, that you could bring your original and they can see it, that it's original, and make a copy of it. You shouldn't have to give up your original document if that's the only one you have.
The next question is about the electronic I-94. Are there any fees to submit the I-94? No, absolutely not.
Okay, the next question about housing. I applied for an on-campus housing on May 19th. Can you tell me when I get my room or address? That's, again, something that is not done through our office. You would have to check directly with campus housing, and we had that information. There's a tab on the screen right now that says housing. You could click on that and look back on that slide to check that information.
Typically, the housing assignments are finished in July, so you should hear within the next few weeks. Okay, the next question is about books and supplies. In the fee structure sent to me from the bursar's office, it stated $800 for books and supplies. Can you highlight what all is covered under this service? That number is an estimate and will vary from student to student and semester by semester, depending on what classes you enroll in. College and university textbooks can be expensive. It seems like you're a little bit surprised by that number. I'm making an assumption. I think they're expensive. But anyway, so basically it's an expense, or it's an expectation of the books for 4 to 6 classes probably. Sometimes science and engineering textbooks can be quite pricey, so I can't give you more information beyond that. I will tell you that some students will be enrolled in lab classes, and sometimes lab classes will have additional fees per semester.
Okay, the next question, what's the functional difference between OIE and graduate departments? What a great question.
That's a great question.
Okay, think of it in terms of academic advising versus immigration advising. OIE is your station for immigration advising. We advise people on F1 and J1 visas. Your graduate departments will help you with the academic part. So anything related to your major, your curriculum, getting overrides into courses, graduation requirements, things of that sort. Your GRA, anything to do with a GRA, a graduate research assistantship, things like that are done through your graduate departments.
Okay, the next question is about banking. Will we need a student ID or buzz card to open a bank account in Atlanta? You don't have to have a student ID, but certain banks near to campus, and there are 3 or 4 banks that are right next to campus on our borders, they have special deals for students. So it's in your benefit sometimes to have your buzz card already when you go to set up a bank account, so that you can get the best possible deal for yourself. I don't know exactly what the deals are, but sometimes it's like a free checking account for students or something like that. So you will not have to have it, but it would be a good idea.
A student asked if we would talk about a prelim exam. I am not sure what you mean by that. Our office doesn't require any exams for students. So if that is related somehow to your major, you would need to reach out to your undergraduate academic advisor or your graduate coordinator.
Okay, this is about housing again. He says, actually, my friends already got the on-campus housing assignments. These are not all sent out to students at once, I don't think. I think as assignments are made, then they are sent out. I don't believe there's any cause to worry as long as you have applied for housing and paid your housing deposit. But if you are concerned, please feel free to contact the housing department directly, which is housing, housing.gatech.edu. And they should have a portal or an email address in there so that you can submit your questions specifically to them.
How soon can I have a social security number and a credit card after registration? We have information actually on the social security number on our website, and there is a handout that goes with that. So it tells you exactly what documents you need to have in your possession before you go to the Social Security office to get a Social Security card. I believe you have to be in the U.S. 10 days. Is that correct, Charlie?
Well,
you can get the card.
Let's back up a little bit. So F1 students are only eligible for a Social Security number if you are eligible for employment and you have a job. So this webinar isn't really the best place to talk about all of the different types of employment authorization, but rest assured, unless you have a GRA or a GTA or some kind of on-campus job, you will not have the ability to have work authorization until you've been enrolled at Georgia Tech for the fall semester and the spring semester. So graduate students have a chance of getting a Social Security number close to the beginning of their first semester. Undergraduate students, it's less likely, though if you do find an on-campus job, that is a possibility. So to answer the question specifically, if you do have an on-campus job, then you will be eligible for the Social Security number. What you would do is we would ask you to wait a few weeks to go apply for it, because OIE will have to activate your I-20, which is what we do for all new students at the beginning of the semester. We're not able to do it at the exact first day of the semester. We have to wait until after the registration period has passed, and then we activate all of the I-20s at the same time. If you try to apply for the Social Security number before that happens, it will not be approved. So wait a few weeks. It shouldn't be a big inconvenience for you at all, because Georgia Tech employees, including international students, are allowed to begin working and even begin getting paid at the beginning of the semester if you don't yet have a Social Security number. So you can take care of getting that Social Security number later, after everything has been taken care of and after all the stressful stuff at the beginning of the semester has already passed. For credit card information, well, that depends on the various banks. I would, again, recommend that you get a bank account, one of these like checking accounts or a savings account at an American bank, and then it'll be whatever rules that particular bank has for when you can get a credit card. Now, one other thing about Social Security numbers is that if J1 students are allowed to get a Social Security number right away. What I want to say about this is that if you do not absolutely need a Social Security number, and the only thing that you absolutely need a Social Security number for is if you have a job for the purpose of tracking taxes, then you might want to consider not getting one. The Social Security number is a way for vendors and people who offer services like electricity or cell phones or things like that to see your credit history. And most likely, international students, once they first get to Atlanta, do not have a credit history at all. So even having the Social Security number will not provide any benefit. And because it's a lifelong number, you will have it for your entire life. There is the possibility of identity theft, where a person gets a hold of your Social Security number and uses it to get credit cards, which they will then charge a lot of money, which would be owed by you. So try not to, you don't absolutely need a Social Security number. And we have more information. I know that was a lot of words that I just said. We have more of that information, like Mimi said, on our website.
Okay, the next question is regarding a buzz card. Would we need to carry any specific documents to procure our buzz cards? I would be carrying my I-20 and visa. You just really need to give the buzz card office your Georgia Tech 9-digit ID number, which starts with the number 9. They can review your information in the system and see what they need. Basically, they're looking for that you're an admitted student and you're eligible to register for that upcoming term, and then you can be issued a buzz card. It's a pretty painless process, and you get the card very quickly. Like I said, they take your picture right there, and you just wait a few minutes to get your card.
Okay, so this question says, do you have any plans for extracurricular activities? That's a great question. Georgia Tech is a large and vibrant community that has all types of organizations and clubs on pretty much anything you can imagine, from religious and spiritual stuff to cultural and ethnic to things related to your major to things related to hobbies and sports and all kinds of things. And there is a new website for that I don't have in my memory. But if you type Georgia Tech clubs and organizations into Google, you should be able to find it now. There will be lots of opportunities for students to get involved in these things and find out what all is available. In terms of OIE, yes, we do provide programming throughout the year specifically for international students, but also as a way for international students to meet American students and integrate and hopefully make some friends with people from the United States and from other countries as well. We have several events during the check-in process, including a party on Thursday, August 18th for all new international students. It's always a great time. We have different sessions, some mandatory, some voluntary, during that week as well. In terms of fun extracurricular activities, one thing that we do every month is an international student coffee hour. That's for international students and everybody else. And anyone's welcome to come, and they usually have a theme there, I believe, every month. We will have schedules and more information about that for you once you arrive on campus. Also, OIE sponsors 2 trips per year, one during fall break, which is in around the middle of October, and one during spring break, which is the middle of March. The destinations for those trips have not been confirmed yet, but it's always a great time, and it'll be about 50 or so international students going to someplace in the United States for a couple of days, and sometimes the trips are service-oriented, sometimes they are fun-oriented. They're all different things. So we will definitely be sending more information out to students as it becomes available.
But service is also fun.
Service is also fun.
Okay. Should the OIE check-in be done before applying for a buzz card? I don't believe that order matters. Just make sure you do check in. You may want to check in first just to sort of have a peace of mind that you have done what you needed to do with our office, and making sure you check with your academic advisor or your department to make sure you've done another kind of mandatory orientation for your department. And then you're free to go get your buzz card, because you may want to spend a little bit of time in that gigantic bookstore getting lots of great things from Georgia Tech.
I will say for undergraduate students, the buzz card, you'll get your buzz card during Facet. If it's possible, we do strongly encourage you to complete the OIE check-in process before Facet. The reason for that is they will know if you have not completed OIE check-in, and they will find a time to send you to complete OIE check-in. But what that means is Facet is a very busy 2 days, and if you have to come and deal with OIE check-in during Facet, you're going to miss some of their great activities. So if it's possible for you to come take care of our business first, and then you can go to Facet and not have to worry about it. So if you're thinking about it that way, I would recommend completing OIE check-in first before getting your buzz card. We will not ask you for your buzz card when you come to OIE check-in. We will ask you for your GTID number. So just make sure you have memorized your GTID number. That's the 9-digit number that starts with 90, or have it written down someplace where you can get to it easily.
Okay, the next question. Jasper's asking lots of questions. That's great.
Thank you, Jasper.
Where could I apply for on-campus jobs? Great question. You can start working on campus when you get here. Within the 30 days, you are allowed to work on campus. We have lots of opportunities, whether it's somehow related to your major or just working in the student center or for Starbucks on campus or the bookstore or perhaps one of the academic offices. Just lots of places to check. I would recommend, we do have a career center on campus, so you could check there. You could check with your department if maybe they're hiring any student assistants as well.
There's no one central place to look for on-campus jobs. Unfortunately, it's sometimes a bit of hunting around and visiting different departments, whether they're academic departments or administrative departments or services on campus individually. There's no one place to go. Next question says, if I once had an SSN number but I lost it, can I track it back? That's a great question. I believe that you can. Hopefully you know what your SSN number is. But what I would recommend that you do after you arrive in Atlanta, and I would also say personally after you complete registration and get through the busy first couple of weeks of the semester, then sure, go to the Social Security Administration office in Atlanta. It's very close to campus, just about a half-hour walk or 2 subway stops away. You can go and talk to them, and you can see if they can help you with that process.
The next question is about jobs. What is the process for applying for on-campus jobs like library jobs? I believe we just answered that question. You can actually just go to the library and see if they're hiring, or again, look online for that. Again, like Charlie said, there's no central place to find jobs on campus.
Okay, this is a great question. Do international students have a chance to do exchange practical training programs with other universities? Where can I find that information? Yes, that is one of the other parts of OIE. So OIE, for your broader information, is the International Student and Scholar Services team. That's me and Mimi and the rest of our team. And we work with international students coming in and the visa and immigration questions and regulations related to that. Other parts of our office are or include education abroad, which is study abroad, the international plan, which is related to the internationalization of your curriculum, and the, what is it called? Global internship program, which is for finding internships that are around the world. You can find information about all of that stuff at our main website, which is oie.gatech.edu.
Okay, an estimated average cost on the I-20 for 9 months. Does the cost cover fees for fall 16, summer, and spring 17? It would be fall 16, spring 17, and summer 17. Not summer 17. Sorry, Charlie's telling me no. Sorry about that. Just the fall 16 and spring 17. If you're meaning what you had to show financial documentation for, it is for that first academic year. So fall 16, spring 2017. That's what you would have to show on a bank statement to get your visa. If I'm answering your question. If I'm not, please feel free to ask a more detailed question.
The next question, is there a Facet orientation for grad students? There is not. Facet is specifically for undergraduate students. Orientations for grad students are academic department specific, but there is also a graduate student expo, which takes place, I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but it's during this week that we have up here on the screen, the week directly before classes start. That's an opportunity for grad students, especially those who have GRAs and GTAs, to work through that part of the process. But there's not a specific Facet for all of the grad students across every department on campus.
Okay, just to let you know, we're winding down a little bit. We have 4 minutes left that we'll take questions. Are international students automatically signed up for GT health insurance and charged to our account? I believe we've answered that question a few times.
Yeah, just to go over it one more time. Sorry.
No.
Yes, the answer is yes. Once you register for your classes for a full course load, which is 12 credit hours, which is the minimum requirement for all international students, you must be registered for at least 12 credit hours. Once you do that, your account will be charged for health insurance for the fall semester. The actual dates of the health insurance coverage will be August 1st through December 31st of 2016. You will be automatically signed up for it and automatically charged for it, and you will have to pay that amount along with your other tuition and fees by the bursar's deadline, which, as Mimi mentioned, is August 29th. When you enroll full-time for the spring semester, then you will be charged and enrolled for the next time period of insurance coverage, which will be January 1st, 2017 until July 31st, 2017. So it is automatic based on when you register for 12 credit hours of courses. Hmm? Yeah,
Okay. Is there a career fair in September? Is this for the summer internships for summer 2017? When can we apply for internships for summer? Good question. The career fairs, there are several career fairs on campus. The Career Center sponsors a huge career fair in our Student Rec Center. We also, you might want to check with your department. Most of the departments sponsor their own career fair for their majors, which is great. You would be eligible, like we're not going to get into the whole work authorization during this webinar, but you are eligible to work off campus after you've completed full-time enrollment in the fall semester and the spring semester. So if that applies to you, you would be eligible for work off campus summer 2017.
The next question is back to health insurance. He says, what about health insurance for grad students? I don't think we are required to take 12 credit hours per semester. The answer is the same for grad students and for undergrad students. You are required to take 12 credit hours per semester, whether your academic department requires 12 credit hours or not. The F1 regulations do require that. So that is a requirement for maintaining your F1 status. So you will have to be registered for at least 12 credit hours. If you have a GRA or a GTA, that will count for some of the enrollment.
Okay, we've got about one more minute, so if we don't get any more questions, we just wanted to let you know, if you think of any questions once the webinar has ended, again, you can please email us at info@oie.gatech.edu, and we just wanted to remind you about the next webinar, which is in a couple of weeks. It's July the 8th, and we'll have this information plus more detailed information for you. And again, that's not mandatory, but we definitely recommend that you attend the July 8th or July 26th webinar. And we appreciate you guys joining us, and thanks again for your patience on our technical difficulties at the beginning with the questions. And hopefully we'll see you guys in a couple of months.
Have a great remainder of your summer.
Bye.